Okay, picture this. You're falling from the sky at over 80 miles an hour. Both of your parachutes have failed and the ground is rushing up to meet you. You somehow survive the impact, but the thing that saves you is arguably more terrifying than the fall itself. This is the absolutely incredible and true story of Joan Murray. So let's start here, at 14,500 feet. That's nearly 3 miles up, almost 4.5 kilometers. From that high up, the world just looks like a map. It's an altitude where a fall isn't just dangerous, it's supposed to be fatal, period. So that's the big question, right? How in the world could anyone possibly survive a fall from that height? The answer is so bizarre, you'd swear it was made up for a movie. But, as we're about to see, it is very, very real. To really get what went wrong, we've got to first understand the woman at the heart of this story. And, how perfectly her day actually began. This is Joan Murray, and let's be clear, she was no beginner, not even close. At 47 years old, she was a professional skydiver, actually celebrating her birthday. She was Halo licensed, which means she was trained for these intense, high-altitude jumps. This was her 36th time doing this. She absolutely knew what she was doing. The year was 1999. It was one of those beautiful, clear, sunny days. Joan chartered a small plane, she geared up, and she confidently jumped out into the big blue sky. Everything was going exactly according to plan. And this is the exact moment that perfect day turns into an absolute nightmare, a complete catastrophe that started to unfold one piece at a time. So she's enjoying the free fall, and at about 8,000 feet, she pulls the cord for her main parachute, and nothing happens. She tries again, still nothing. She stays calm, she follows her training, and at around 7,000 feet, she pulls the cord for her reserve chute. And, impossibly, that one fails too. I mean, she had followed every single step of the procedure perfectly, but was just met with total equipment failure. She was now in a helpless free fall, picking up speed, hitting her terminal velocity of over 80 miles per hour, with no way, absolutely no way to slow down. In those last terrifying moments, she looked down. There was no lake, no forest, not even a bush that could break her fall. There was just hard, dry, unforgiving ground waiting for her. And then, impact. She hit the ground. And by all logic, this is where the story should end. But what she landed on? Well, this is where you get the most astonishing twist you can possibly imagine. Joan Murray landed directly on top of a massive mound of fire ants. Now, these aren't your regular picnic ants, okay? Their stings are excruciatingly painful, and their venom can actually induce shock. She had crashed right into their home. The enraged colony just swarmed her body, stinging her over 200 times. I mean, can you imagine that? You survive a fall from 14,500 feet, only to be attacked by hundreds of venomous insects. It sounds like a whole new layer of hell, but it wasn't. And here is the unbelievable heart of her survival. The impact had nearly stopped her heart, but the sheer shock and agony from over 200 fire ant stings, it jolted her system. It triggered this massive surge of adrenaline. And that surge is what kept her heart pumping, kept her lungs working just long enough for paramedics to show up. The attack was her salvation. But surviving the fall and the stings, that was only the first battle. Her real fight for life was actually just beginning. In the hospital, she would have to endure 22 separate surgeries. 22. That's just how extensive her injuries were. Doctors literally had to piece her shattered body back together. And she needed 19 blood transfusions just to stay alive. That's nearly enough to replace her body's entire blood volume. The odds were just overwhelmingly against her. She was placed in a medically induced coma. Her recovery was long, it was grueling, but against all the odds, this woman who fell from the sky and was saved by an insect attack, she survived. And what a survival it was. She didn't just recover, she completely reclaimed her life. In 2001, just 2 years after that almost fatal fall, Joan Murray triumphantly went back up into the sky and she jumped again. She went on to live for more than 2 decades after that, passing away peacefully in 2022 at the age of 73. Joan herself summed it up perfectly. She said, "I thought the ants were my nightmare. I didn't know they were my lifeline." That just captures the incredible, almost unbelievable nature of her story, right? The thing that seemed like a final horrific ordeal was actually the key. Her story is just this incredible reminder that in our absolute worst moments, help and hope can show up from the most unexpected and, yeah, even the most painful sources. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. In our own lives, when things seem hopeless, what's our version of the fire ants? Where can salvation be found in the most unexpected places?